Good morning. Welcome to the midweek edition of your breakfast on Leadership Television inside Nigeria. On today's show, we are looking at newspaper review only. We're looking at what the papers are saying, including Nigeria's most influential leadership. My name is Winifred Ugbebo, your host on the program. Let's go there. Let's look at the menu for all the papers we have on our lineup this morning. Starting with leadership. Leadership says falsehood merchants behind GMO controversy. Experts. Falsehood merchants behind GMO controversy. Experts declare teller maize. Others say for consumption. Say technology innovation best solution to food insecurity. Nigeria can save 900 billion naira yearly with teller maize. ABU professors. Leading story today on leadership newspaper. Still on leadership, drama as Nnamdi Kanu disowns counsel in court. CSO's petition reps over 6 billion naira police uniform contract. We are tackling root causes of insecurity, NEDC. NAS lacks powers to summon Benue Speaker, lawmakers. Towards the masthead of leadership, Tinubu mandates NIN, that is NIN authentication in MDAs. The story runs on page 4 of leadership newspaper. And atop the masthead, President submits 1.78 trillion naira FCT 2025 budget to reps. President submits 1.78 trillion naira FCT 2025 budget to reps. 40 years after, DSS removes Arogundade's name from watch list. 40 years after, DSS removes Arogundade's name from watch list. The story is on page 7 of leadership newspaper. We move inside the paper for our stand. Our stand today is on make those diplomatic appointments now. Make those diplomatic appointments now. Today's editorial, which is on the page of our stand on leadership today. The absence of ambassadors in Nigeria's foreign missions for nearly 2 years is giving Nigerians a cause for concern. The role of ambassadors and high commissioners in representing the interests of their countries cannot be understated. Nigeria's voice has been significantly weakened globally without these appointed officials. The absence of ambassadors is taking a tremendous toll on the nation's diplomatic presence and relations. It has been nearly 2 years since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assumed office as Nigeria's president. He's yet to fill those high-level diplomatic vacancies. Let's move towards the masthead, towards the conclusion of the stand today in leadership. It says that the absence of ambassadors in Nigeria's foreign missions is a critical issue that must be addressed urgently. The appointment of ambassadors is essential to strengthening Nigeria's position among the Committee of Nations and promoting foreign investments. The government must take immediate action to fill these vacancies and ensure that Nigeria's voice is heard globally. Excerpts from today from our stand, make those diplomatic appointments now. From our stand, we move over to the back page of the paper where we have Wednesday column with Olufunke Baruwa. Today, Olufunke is writing on the rise of Nigeria's influencer economy. The rise of Nigeria's influencer economy. In quote, Nigeria's influencer economy is more than a fad, it's a structural shift in how Nigerians consume content, trust information, and relate to commerce, culture, and social consciousness. Quote from Wednesday's column with Olufunke Baruwa, the rise of Nigeria's influencer economy. Before we leave that column, let's move to Ghana Must Go. Ghana Must Go from Senator Kawu Sumaila. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu didn't remove fuel subsidy. He only announced it. And Ghana Must Go ask him, must you talk? Must you talk? What a question. It's on this note we conclude review of Leadership newspaper this Wednesday. For more, log into www.leadership.ng. From leadership, we still move over to the next paper on our lineup. And incidentally, the three papers we have on our lineup, The Guardian, The Punch, Vanguard, are talking insecurity. Which do we take first? Let's move to The Punch newspaper. The Punch says rising insecurity. National Assembly as generals demand urgent rearmament. Rising insecurity. NAS, that is National Assembly, as generals demand urgent military rearmament. Senate moves to tackle killings as retired military chiefs. Reps lament insurgents' use of sophisticated arms. Kicker to the leading story on today's The Punch newspaper. Rising insecurity. NAS, as generals demand urgent military rearmament. We have the picture of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, with the force management team during a tour of the security technology facilities in Breach UAS Kuje, Abuja, yesterday, Tuesday. Beneath that, Senate may pass tax bills today, panel to oversee IBAS. Benue Zamfara assemblies reject reps summons. Federal government keys as Patutomi forms shadow government. The story continues on page 7 of the Punch. Federal government keys as Patutomi forms shadow government. That takes us to the last story on the cover of the Punch, and it's just beside the masthead. Defections. Okowa denies 500 billion naira refund claim as Oborewori visits Tinubu. The story continues on page 28 of the Punch. Of course, it is a trending story that the immediate past governor of Delta State, who just defected to APC, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, has refunded 500 billion naira to the state's treasury. However, in response to that, that is the story on the beside the masthead of the Punch. Okowa denies 500 billion naira refund claim as Oborewori visits Tinubu. It's also on that note we conclude review of front headline stories on the Punch newspaper this Wednesday, May 7, 2025. For continuation of these headline stories, don't forget to visit the website of the Punch. We move over to the next paper, still talking insecurity, and that is Vanguard. Vanguard says insecurity, Nigerians will revolt if action not taken. Insecurity, Nigerians will revolt if action not taken. Reps question 19.7 trillion naira spent on security. Akpabio tax senators on legislative action. Boko Haram returning stronger. Rep Jaha. Presidency NSA mom. I'll take that leading story again from on Vanguard newspaper this Wednesday. Insecurity, Nigerians will revolt if action not taken. Representatives question 19.7 trillion naira spent on security. Akpabio tax senators on legislative action. Boko Haram returning stronger. Representative Jaha. Presidency, National Security Advisor Mom. Article to both women, I'm not leaving beat PDP. Sule Lamido defense zone, he says is cure, not cause. VDM not told why he's being detained, counsel, though granted bail, still in custody. Benue Assembly Des now says his leadership won't honor invitation. This in response to the trending stories that the House of Representatives has summoned the Speaker of the Benue State House of Assembly. However, in response to that, the Benue Assembly Speaker said it says that is not responsible or accountable to the House of Representatives, says his leadership won't honor invitation. From that, we move to this last story on the cover of Vanguard, and it's about the masthead. Banks borrowings from CBN dropped 97% to 380 billion naira. Banks borrowings from CBN dropped 97% to 380 billion naira. It's on that note we also conclude front page stories review on Vanguard this Wednesday, May 7, 2025 edition. For continuation of these headline stories, don't also forget to visit the website of Vanguard. Let's move over to the next paper we have on our lineup, and the paper is also talking insecurity, and that is The Guardian. The Guardian says how insecurity, middlemen drive up rice prices, force meal shutdowns. How insecurity, middlemen drive up rice prices, force meal shutdowns. The story runs on page 6 of The Guardian. However, there's illustration beneath the leading story. Let's take it one after the other. Gathering inputs, agrochemicals, seeds, land, water, machinery, and energy are all vital inputs for rice farming. Insecurity remains a major concern in terms of access to land for farming alongside machinery. Agricultural production. The stage involves farmers managing resources, propagating seedlings, planting, growing, and harvesting. Farmers today complain of the high cost of fertilizers, leading to reduced yields and also prompting them to shift to alternative crops such as sesame and sorghum, which require less fertilizer and are also more cost effective to cultivate. 3. Trading and processing. After harvesting, paddy traders buy and combine rice from smallholder farmers to sell to millers. Today, rice mills have become underutilized, with many shutting down as middlemen mop up paddy rice in order to dictate prices, starving the mills of products needed for processing. And on the 4th, we have marketing, distribution, and manufacturing. Aside from competition for foreign brands, high fuel cost and multiple checkpoints manned by security agencies which extort money from drivers affects the cost of production and distribution. On number 5, we have retail. Cost and quality remain concerns for consumers in making a choice between local and foreign rice. And 6, consumption. While rice has become a political product and staple in many Nigerian homes, the quality of what is produced determines continued patronage and consumption. These are illustrations beneath the headline story today on the Guardian newspaper, Wednesday, May 7, 2025. How insecurity, middlemen drive up rice prices, force meal shutdowns. Other stories gracing the cover of the Guardian: defections, Delta federal state lawmakers switch allegiance to APC as Tinubu meets Oborewori. Why poverty is worsening in Nigeria by Obi. The story is on page 3 of the Guardian. Over 75% of Lagos food supply from other states, says Lagos state government. Over 75% of Lagos food supply from other states, Lagos state government. Senate constitutes committee to oversee Rivers Sole administrator. Senate grieves over Uromi Gombe killing, said for security summit amid concerns. UN worries over dwindling donor funding as 4.6 million face severe hunger in Northeast. Boko Haram now deadlier, uses weaponized drones, say Bono reps. FMCG firms ride on Naira stability, grow profits by 100%. Lawyers Tom Nance demand takeover of Benue Zamfara assemblies. That also brings to a close the review of front headline stories on The Guardian this Wednesday. For more, log into www.guardian.ng. From The Guardian, we move over to the last paper we have on our lineup, and that is THISDAY. THISDAY says with $75 budget benchmark, concerns mount as oil price hovers around $60. This was the story on one of the leading papers yesterday. With $75 budget benchmark, concerns mount as oil price hovers around $60. Goldman Sachs, Barclays, Morgan Stanley / forecast. Nachima, CPPE advised federal government to review budget projections. Analyst: lower oil price puts economy at risk, creates appetite for borrowing. NLC predicts more hardship for Nigerians, just like World Bank. The Nigerian Labour Congress predicts more hardship for Nigerians. These are kickers to the leading story on the cover of THISDAY this Wednesday. With $75 budget benchmark, concerns mount as oil price hovers around $60. Atop that, Man Neka Ndumehe, federal government's Nigeria First policy. That is Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, NECA, Ndumehe, federal government's Nigeria First policy. Nigeria's first policy is that the federal government was shutting down borders or blocking imports from the goods that can also actually be produced here in Nigeria. Predict it will boost GDP by 56%, reduce unemployment by 37%. Article to Tinubu, trade your escalate for Inosun to prove policy. It's so interesting. Article to Tinubu, trade your escalate for innocent to prove policy. Let's take some excerpts from that leading story on this day. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, and the senator representing Borno South, Ali Ndume, yesterday commended the federal government for the Nigerian First policy, on public procurement that prioritize patronage of made in Nigerian goods and services. However, former vice president and the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the last general election, Atiku Abubakar, yesterday challenged President Bola Tinubu to put the policy to practice by trading his official vehicle and Escalade for a local brand such as Innoson or other local brands. He also dared Tinubu to choose local hospitals for his medicals over foreign medical institutions. These are excerpts from the leading story, second leading story on the cover of THISDAY newspaper this morning. Manufacturers Association of Nigeria (NECA) Udume hailed federal government's Nigeria First policy. However, Atiku, the former vice president, told Tinubu to trade his Escalade for Innocent to prove policy. From that, we move to the other stories atop the masthead of this day. It says NUPROC pledges support as ExxonMobil commits to $1.5 billion deep water investment. NUPROC pledges support as ExxonMobil commits to $1.5 billion deep water investment. Lastly, after disastrous local polls, Tory MP meets to discuss ousting Kemi Badenoch. The story runs on page 6 of this day. After disastrous local polls, Tory MPs meet to discuss ousting Kemi Badenoch. Kemi Badenoch is a Nigerian British who had actually been in the news over his comments about Nigeria. After disastrous local polls, Tory MPs meet to discuss ousting Kemi Badenoch. You can find the story on page 6 of this day newspaper. It's also on that note we conclude review of front headline stories on this day, this Wednesday, May 7, 2025. For continuation of this day news, don't forget to log in to the website of this day. It's on this note we also bring to an end today's Inside Nigeria, which was brought to you on Leadership Television. Don't forget to log into the website of Leadership, www.leadership.ng, for continuation of this news. My name is Winifred Okwepo. Don't forget to join us still on this station for news on the hour. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.